ममता का गीत लिए तू लहराता जा, लहरा तिरंगे लहरा मस्त राहों में, घनघोर गगनों में, आकाश की राहों में तू ऊंचा उड़ता जा, तू ऊंचा उड़ता जा, तू ऊंचा उड़ता जा।
Good morning and greetings to all the children and parents of Focus High School on the occasion of India's Independence Day. I've enjoyed so much over the last week seeing the children and teachers taking part in celebrations remotely. Many of the children have taken part in fancy dress events. They have taken part in arts activities, including food cutting and presentation. And children have sung patriotic songs commemorating the freedom fighters and their struggles for our independence. Every year when we celebrate this day, we try to find new meanings, and in this year, because of the coronavirus epidemic, I think that this Independence Day has a very different character. We are very free this year from so many things that we have been shackled to in the past. For example, we no longer have those large social events, extravagant weddings, or competitive religious events happening in our country as a whole. Unnecessary shopping and eating at restaurants, we've become free of those obligations and those expenses. And also, because of working from home, many parents, many children, we're all freed from traffic and long commutes. These are things to be happy for. These are blessings to be happy for as a nation. We also, every year, pray for greater freedom and enjoyment of our independence. And I think that this year, we must all pray together to be freed from fevers and from face masks. We pray to be free from job loss and salary cuts. And we hope and pray that the stress of being indoors and being away from social gatherings, the depression and the frustration that children and adults alike feel, that we should be liberated from this as soon as possible. Independence is an entire changing of a society, and one of the most crucial aspects of this independence is the growth and development of education of the children of the nation. And this year, recent events are also very inspiring, and they show us something to work towards so that we can make our independence more meaningful. I'm thinking in particular of the new national education policy, which has been released within the last couple of weeks. As many of you know, in the 1950s, just after India gained independence, we were on par with so many countries of the world, developing countries of the world, such as South Korea, China, Iran, Malaysia. And since the 1950s, these countries have been able to strengthen their economies, develop their culture, and take a proper place in the world, mainly because they have achieved a high level of education. And this is a project which is yet unfinished in India. So I'm very hopeful that the national education policy which has been unveiled would take us further along in the path to educating all of our children. As you all know, we're hoping from this policy that the government would spend up to 6% of the GDP on the whole sector of education, that teacher training would be more systematic and of higher quality. And in the new policy, for the first time, the early years, the most formative years of children's growth and development have been included in the national education policy. And probably very relevant to our present situation, the over-commercialization of education is to be brought under control, and much better access to public education is one of the goals of the new policy. So we're all hopeful that our Independence Day is celebrated in a meaningful way, and that we can all work as parents, as children, and as professionals towards improving the quality of education for our country. We've all been taking part in a very new kind of education because of the pandemic, remote teaching and learning, which has been a new experience for our school and our entire community. And I would like to take this chance to share some of the feedback and data that we have for remote teaching in the last 2 months, since June and July. In particular, in July, we have sent to all of you, parents and children, reports about how education, how your learning has been progressing. There is a number which we call engagement, and that includes two aspects: how well are children attending the live lessons, and how well are children submitting the tasks which have been assigned to them. And in some areas, this is very encouraging information, and in some areas we also see areas for improvement. Attendance in live lessons of children across our campuses, in Nur Khan Bazar campus, Purani Haveli campus, and Darul Shifa campus, is in the order of 45 to 70%. Nur Khan Bazar campus had the highest percentage of 70%, Darul Shifa campus 45%, and Purani Haveli 60%. This is a good number in the sense that children are quite regular in taking part in live lessons, but naturally there is room for improvement, and we look forward to that. In terms of submission of the tasks, most of the three campuses are in the range of 40% submission of tasks. Now, we all know the challenges of remote teaching and learning: device problems, internet difficulties, even electricity, and sharing devices among siblings. So it's not that we should be unrealistic in expectations. These numbers are solid, but we all have to strive. Teachers will be striving, and parents, we ask you to strive to see that the children's engagement in learning continues to improve in the coming months. Along with the reports, we had also asked parents to give their feedback on how the school is delivering in remote instruction. And I would like to share this also with you, hoping again for improvement where we need to bring about the improvement, and to encourage you to keep up your feedback, because this is very valuable for us as a school. In our survey, we tried to ask about the quality of the information and communications technology, the setup of our remote teaching. For example, video and audio quality, punctuality of the teachers. And in this rough area of issues, we found that the parents were quite satisfied with the school's performance. In almost all of these questions, performance of the school was either very strongly agree or agree to the statement that the school is arranging ICT well. In a second area, the most important area I think for instruction is the content of the lessons. And here we asked parents to tell whether the content that is presented is meaningful and helpful, whether the lessons are interactive and engaging, and also whether the tasks that are assigned are meaningful and helpful to the children. And thankfully, in all of these areas, the parents have agreed or strongly agreed in 80%, 76%, 77% of the time. So this is very encouraging to know that what the teachers' efforts are having a positive impact on the children, that the parents appreciate this effort. The one area of instruction where we receive feedback that shows us an area to improve is in the corrections and the feedback provided by the teachers. And here, 64% of the parents have said that they strongly agree or agree that the teachers are giving feedback within a week. Now, 64% is still a high number, but it's a lower number than the others, and we know that this is an area where the teachers will have to be more prompt and regular in giving feedback to the children. Finally, the third broad area of questions in our survey had to do with communications. How well the school communicates with parents, provides information, and also gives support for using of the devices and the internet. So in this area, we are also grateful that the teachers and the school's effort have paid off. Parents were quite satisfied. 81% were strongly agreed or agreed with the statement that the school is providing timely and clear information, and that class teachers are also supporting the parents and responding to them. So in all of these areas, as I said, we truly appreciate the parents' feedback. Almost 380 parents have responded to the survey, and with this continued engagement, we will try to improve the instruction that the children get, and we would ask you to try to see that the children are also positively engaged, submit their tasks, and take part in the online lessons. We thank you for all of your patience and involvement in our school. This is a very difficult and challenging time for families and for organizations like ours. And I appreciate the efforts of our teachers who are constantly striving to keep the children's education moving forward. And for the children especially, I would like to ask you all to take every Independence Day as a chance to recommit yourself towards your own education, towards better citizenship, to self-building, because that is what true independence is all about: developing oneself, developing one's skills and ability to give back to society and to the world. And so I would like to conclude then with the best wishes from all of us here at Focus High School.